and then I said I'm going to move on to panel discussion. Okay, so the group, please, without wasting time, please start the presentation.
Ma'am, can I start?
Please,
Ma'am, we
please
want to go
start.
first. Hello.
Hello, yes, I can hear you, Sharwari.
Ma'am, we want to go first.
Okay, then I mean, see, it's all your mutual things. Whoever wants to come, I'm waiting. So please, start the presentation because the marking and all, I'm doing it, and I will overall give my views and versions on the discussions that you had it last week for the groups which had it last week and for the 3 groups left. Hurry up and do it now, please. Doesn't matter
Okay.
whichever. That's your understanding with your friends. Who wants to come
Okay.
first and who will be the second? Short Gori. Okay. Convoy, they are presenting. Aircraft GPS tracking. Good. Start, Convoy.
Okay.
Hmm.
Ma'am, I'll start.
Fine, fine, fine. It's up to you. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is
Good
Sharwari
up.
Haldar, and today the topic of our presentation is aircraft GPS tracking. So first of
Yes.
all, we have to understand what is GPS. What is the function of GPS? GPS, or the Global Positioning System, is a global navigation satellite system that provides the location, velocity, and the time synchronization. GPS is everywhere. We can find it in our cars, our smartphones, and even in the digital watches that we use nowadays. When we talk about GPS aircraft tracking, it is actually a means of tracking the position of the aircraft fitted with a GPS receiver. Next slide, we have the history of GPS. Please change the slide. So, the GPS project was developed in 1973 to overcome the limitations of previous navigation systems. It
Hmm.
was created and released by the US Development Defense and was originally run with 24 satellites. The first
Yes.
artificial satellite was Sputnik, launched by the Soviet Union on 4 October 1957 under the Sputnik program. It became fully functional in 1993. Now the next slide. Aircraft positioning using radar. The
Hmm.
aircraft are managed and monitored using radar, that is radio detection and ramming.
Hmm.
Radar is the detection system that uses radio waves to determine the range, angle, and velocity of the objects. It is used to detect the aircraft, ships, spacecrafts, etc. It is widely used during wars and for military usage to control the fighter planes. Next
Hmm.
slide. Types of satellite in the space. We all know that there are two types of satellite. One is the natural, another is the man-made. Moon is a natural satellite, and there are over 2,000 man-made satellites orbiting the Earth. That is, such as communication satellites, remote sensing satellite, navigation satellite, polar satellite, geocentric orbit type satellite, etc. Thank you. Now my friend Choitali will take over.
Okay, Choitali. That
Good,
was really nice, Sharburi. Yeah. Yes. Welcome, Choitali.
good afternoon, everyone. This is Chaitali Shahan. My topic is what are the elements of GPS? GPS elements has three parts. One is space segment, user segment, and control segment. Next slide, please. Now, space segment. The GPS space segment consists of a constellation of satellite transmitting radio signals to users. It transmits radio navigation signals and store and retransmit the navigation message sent by the control segment. Next slide, please. The control segment. The GPS control segment consists of a global network of ground facilities that track the GPS satellites, monitor their transmissions, perform analysis, and send commands and data to the constellation. The GPS control segment also have three elements. One is monitor station, second is master control station, and third is ground antennas. First, monitor stations. Track GPS satellites as they pass overhead, collect navigation signals, range carrier measurements, and atmospheric data. Second, Master Control Station provides commands and control of the GPS constellation. Use uses global monitor station data to compute the precise location of the satellites. Third is ground antennas send commands, navigation data uploads, and processor program loads to the satellites. Please next slide. The next slide is user segment. The user GPS receiver is the user segment of the GPS. In general, GPS receivers are composed of an antenna tuned to the frequencies transmitted by the satellites, receiver processors, and a highly stable clock. In addition, they might include a display for providing location and speed information to the user. A receiver is often described by its number of channels, signifying how many satellites it can monitor simultaneously. Thank you. Now my friend Shubhanil will explain the next slides.
Hello,
Yeah.
my name is Shubhrani Chakraborty, and I'm
Hmm.
going to explain how GPS works.
Hmm. Good.
So, GPS receivers collect signals from say satellites in view. They displays the user position, velocity, and time as needed for their are needed for their marine, terrestrial, or aeronautical applications. Some display additional data such as distance and bearing to selected waypoint or digital charts. The GPS concept of operation is based upon satellite ranging. Users determine their positions by measuring their distance from the group of satellite in space. The satellite act as a precise reference point. Next slide, please. So my next point is trilateration. Trilateration is a method in geometry. Trilateration is defined as the process of determining absolute or relative locations of point by measurement of distances using the geometry of circles, spheres, and or rectangles. Next slide. So my next point is wide area augmentation system, WAAS. WAAS is used in higher precise positioning ventures. The WAAS is a type of satellite based augmentation system, SBAS, that uses widely spaced ground station to connect small errors in global positioning system, GPS satellite data. The main benefit of the WAS is a greatly improved accuracy. Traditional GPS is accurate to 15 meters, about 50 feet. WAS enables GPS is accurate to less than 3 meters 95% of the time. Now, my friend Tanmay Shah will take over.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Tanmay, and I am going to start with my part, which is practical implementation tracking aircraft. So, our discussion started from radar and completed at wide area augmentation system. Accurate real-time data provided by GPS aircraft tracking may be offered to air traffic control using ADS-B technology. This can safely reduce airspace separation of aircraft. GPS aircraft tracking also enables airlines to track their fleet of aircraft over the ACRS system. So, next slide is about technology management of aircraft system. Now, there are 2,000 satellites in the space launched by different countries are being properly managed. There are several active aircraft tracking systems available on market that uses breadcrumb approach to SAR. And in this green planet, thousands of aircraft take off, many arrives at their destination daily. Technology from golden satellites to private planes are managed in admirable way. That's all from our end. Thank you, ma'am, and my fellow classmates.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you. It was very nice. The topic was very new and a good one. Good
Thank you, ma'am.
presentation. Yes. The next group, please. Hey, 1 minute. I just want to have. What was the title of the topic? Aircraft GPS. Just show me the first slide once.
Okay.
I just want to see the title because I'm copying down the title actually. Just the first page is enough. I mean, aircraft GPS tracking. Yes. Okay. Aircraft GPS tracking. Yes. Okay, the next one, please.
Hello.
Yes.
Ma'am, can we start or show my own will start? Who?
You all start.
Okay, ma'am.
Do it fast. Trying to.
Ma'am, little bit net issue, ma'am.
No, okay.
Ma'am, can you hear
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
So, good afternoon, ma'am, and my dear friends. So, my name is Rahul, and my team members, which is Shantan Shet. So, we are going to present on a topic which is CBTC system, a new era in railway signaling system. So let's begin the presentation. Shantan, next. So basically, these are the main points which we are going to cover it. Introduction, then CBTC system architecture, then working principle, then future generation, and at last but not the least, conclusion. Next.
Okay.
So, Shantan, next. So, what is CBTC system? So Hitachi has developed a communication-based train control system, which is CBTC system, as the next generation of signaling technology that is increasingly being adopted in subway, railway, and other new modes of transportation. So these systems integrate equipment installed on train with land-based equipment using wireless communication to collect the position information from trains and send back control signals. So next, Santon. So as we are using a wireless communication in CBTC system, so let's have a small introduction. What is wireless communication? So basically, ma'am, communication can be classified as wired communication and wireless communication. Wireless communication means transfer of information between two points or two places that are not connected by a wire or any types of electric conductor. The most common wireless technology which we use is radio waves, which is used to share information from one place to another place, which may be a miles apart. So let's see how wireless communication works in CBTC system. Shantan. So nowadays, urban railways are using WLAN based, which is wireless local area networks technology, which is one of the best technology. And the reason they are using WLAN technology because they offer high security, high speed, and high reliability. Even with the help of wireless communication, CBTC can trace the train within a short span of time, which is suppose hardly 90 seconds. In fact, wireless communication also guarantee the reliable, safe, and prompt transmission of information. Now, moving towards the application of wireless communication. Shantan. So, as there are various many applications of wireless communication, but the top three applications are, the first one is pinpoint train location. So, which help pinpoint train location help us to track the precise position of a train. The second one is communicate between train and station instantly. So with the help of wireless communication, we can communicate between train and station instantly whenever we need it. Uh, the third one is prevent failure of critical system. So with the help of CBTC, with the help of wireless communication, CBTC, it helps to manage railway traffic and speed in efficient and safe way. Now, the next slide. So these are the components which are used in CBTC system, like train position, transmission of LMA information, then braking control, then retrieval of speed, check profiles. So we are getting the signal from the base station. So we will discuss on the next slide each of the equipments up there. So the first equipment is CBTC ATS central equipment. So it actually visualizes the location of train and health status of the CBTC components using HMI, which is human machine interface. The second equipment is CBTC wayside equipment. It ensures safe train separation, which means there is a safe gap between two trains and safe movement throughout the system. Plus, it implement interlocking function too. The third one is CBTC onboard equipment. It provides information of a train driver. Plus, it also regulates the train speed within the limit. So that's all from my part, ma'am. Now the rest of the slides will be presented by my team members. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Rahul. Good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon, all of my friends. Now I am going to discuss about the CBTC system architecture. It is just, ma'am, cross-sectional view of one CBTC system. Here you can see that there are two stations, and station 1 and one station 2 situated, and there are something ATS, ATC, radio link, and many more things which we are going to discuss in the CBTC system architecture. Next slide, Shantan. We have previously seen that the way ATP, ATC, ATS. Now we are going to discuss precisely about this structure. First of all, ma'am, you can see here onboard ATP, onboard ATO, wayside ATP, wayside ATO, interlocking, etc. ATP means automatic train protection. ATS means automatic train supervision, and ATO means automatic train operation. First, I am going to discuss about the onboard ATP. It is continuously control the train speed according to the safety criteria and also the exchange. Hello, Shantan, previous slide. Shantan, previous slide, not next. And also exchange the safety information with the train and the controller. Next one is onboard ATO system. It's the onboard ATO system control the track and braking effort in the train. Track means in which track the train is moving on. It is controlled by this onboard ATO, and also it reduces the power consumption. Next one is wayside ATP. It makes communication with the train at the area where it is passing through. Next one is wayside ATO. It is control the destination and regulates the train speed. Destination means from where to where one station to another station. It is controlled by the wayside ATO, and also the train speed and the distance between two stations is controlled by this wayside ATO. Next one is the communication system. This communication system, it makes communication between the train equipment and the train and the outside area. Next one is, ma'am, you can see at the above, automated train supervision system, ATS. It makes interface between the operator and the system and also control traffic. And it also acts as the alarm management during interface with the external system. And ma'am, there is, you can see interlocking system between wayside ATP and wayside ATO. It control vitally the trackside equipment, which are switches, signal, and also other functionality. Now I am going to discuss about the level of automation used in this CBTC system. Here, ma'am, GOA1, GOA4, GOA2, etc. Many other automation use this CBTC system architecture, and also the driverless train operation automated system used in this architecture. So we can say CBTC system is automated. In CBTC system, train are automated train. Next one, Shantan. These are some CBT system architecture feature I have already discussed brief in previous slide. Main feature are the wayside equipments control in the every zone and line in the CBTC network. And the working is performed through the central command of ATS through radio link. And also the CBTS architecture depends on the suppliers and the technical approach. Next slide, Shantan. Now I am going to discuss about the moving box and fixed block. It is also a part of CBT system architecture, and I can also say that it also describes some working principle of the CBTC system. Shantan, next slide. Ma'am, the left side diagram is conventional fixed block signaling system. It is the train normal signaling system which we normally observe in our country. It is main thing that the two train is passing through and there is a signal between these two trains. And in the signaling system there are many disadvantages, and for this reason CBTC signaling system is come and signals the CBTC signaling system. And we can also see that there is no signal. CBTC signal name signaling, but there is none in this communication purpose. Next one, please. In conventional fixed block system, there are many disadvantages. First of all, the train used in this conventional fixed block system, there is the less number of bogies, and so the capacity of carrying is also less, and also the train cannot so much fast as the CBTC system train, because when one train moves, then another train in the back, another train cannot pass, cannot realize the speed of this train, because as they are not communicated directly towards each other, they are communicated through the signaling system. So the CBTC system is more advantage over this fixed box system, over this fixed block system, and it is more fast and than the fixed block system, and the moving block also carry more have much carrying capacity. Next slide, Anton. Hello. Now, ma'am, it is CBTC system working principle. You can see here subsystem, radio system, onboard system, information flow, function. First of all, I want to mention that at the lower bottom right, LMA. LMA means limit movement authority. This LMA main function is, it is also a type of wireless sensor type. It gives the nearest obstacles to the train so that it can the train can realize where there is any obstacle or other train in the front of the track. And there is also a point maintained between two trains when they are moving on the same track in the CBTC system. And for this point, they can utilize their speed. Also, they can apply brake at the realization time, and also we can avoid the dangerous condition. And from the LMA transfer, the train location information goes to the server, and also this server and then goes to the train. And in this way, whole control system is happening here. And I want to mention here the distance which is calculated between these two trains are more or less problem free, means error free. And also in the distance calculation, the length of the train is also added, so that we can avoid the accident, and the length of the train which is added is called the footprint. Stand on next slide. These are some overview of subsystem. Signaling system. Through this signaling system, train can get the signal when it can pass or not. This signaling system, we can keep it in mind, it is wireless signaling system, not the traditional signaling block system. Onboard system, I have previously mentioned onboard ATO, onboard ATP, onboard ATS, how it works, and the voice radio communication system. it is a special type of system, ma'am. Here, the all communication works through the radio link and voice radio communication through which a train driver and train passengers can directly contact with the controller. Even using this system, a driverless train can also move in the track. Next slide. Hello. Now, thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to call Shayantan to carry forward the remaining session.
Okay. Yes, please continue.
Thank you, Shanto, for controlling, for explaining the CVTC systems. And I will show, ma'am, I will show how the CVTC system works. And here we can see the two trains are sending information to the train side equipments of the LMAs that Santo has explained. And the equipment, the interlocking systems which are available in the tracks also send the system data to the remote control system center, and that data is sent to the traffic management. And these are all done by the GSM or cable connections. The GSM we already know this is a wireless type of connection, and the cable connection is optical fibers are connected along the tracks, which sends the data to the traffic management. If any mishap happens, this traffic management sends the data back to the train so that the train controller or the train control system can behave according to the instruction of the traffic management center. And now, CVTC systems, I have shown in the picture, the train transponder sends the distance travel and its speed via the element to the train controller. So the train controller sends back the data to the train control system or the train controller to manage with the instructions. They can totally put the train into the automatic system so that the train can accelerate and decelerate and maintain a speed according to the information provided by the train control, or the train can automatically, or the driver can implement that instruction with himself only. And this CVTC system, due to the information, having a great information that Santo has explained about that moving block system, this information is passed, so the train keeps a safe distance between themselves, and they 90% or 100% times they avoid the risk of getting an accident. Now, here we can see a signaling system GIF. Then we can see that train sends the data and receives the data, creates a buffer around himself, and the train moves. Now, here I will show another circumstance where the train, here we have shown that the construction happens, the train automatically changes lines and gone further. This can be worked by the information by the controller, or the train control systems can automatically do this system. That as we can see that here a construction and the part we will see a sick passenger. He is a sick passenger. This is an emergency operation, but you can see the train passed immediately. This is done automatically or by the train controller. Now, in the human behavior is natural. They have some latency in operating some fast works. So these latencies create a huge latency in time. So railway businesses can face a very difficulty in managing time, and they can incur loss, and this can also choke the railway systems. So here the ATO kicks in, the automatic train control systems. In the ATO, the driver, the train drives himself, and in the lower level, which is now available here, the driver is assisted by the train control. So he or she can drive at an optimal speed and optimal acceleration. This also saves the time as well as the energy. And optimal acceleration saves energy, and optimal cruising speeds also save an energy. And in case of higher grades of automation, the driving recommendation which the computer system or the controller room sends can be directly transferred to the train so that they can use a direct driverless system. Here, I can see a comparison graph between the human controlled train and an automatic train. Here, the straight line here we can see is an automatic control train, and here this glittery line we can see is an human control train. So we can say that it is causing some speed brake or acceleration braking or bad deceleration or non-energy efficient acceleration. This all creates an loss in time. Now, as the urban population is increasing, the people are more depending on this railway network for decreasing their time to work. So, confidence on this system should also be increased. So here the automatic train protection system kicks in. The automatic train protection subsystem sends the data of the train to the controller or the computer system so they can check their distance between the train, time optimized, speed, acceleration, and this minimize the risks of any accidents. But as the Santo has discussed, what is the moving block? Here we can see a moving block in ATP. Here is a train, there is some codes, and there is some distance codes where the train will, here we can see a natural speed. And if the train crosses this area, it will decelerate. So to avoid any accidents. And here we can see a safety margins of where the train will wait and hard braking. The train can adjust itself as we have seen at a GIF. The train has adjusted itself when in any incidents. It helps to increase the mistakes and the accidents have been reduced very well in CVTC system. Here we can see a graph of how the human errors are much more in railway system. So I think the CVTC system's ATP protection has decreased this graph, and I think the ATP has greater consequences in improving the confidence in the people of using the urban railway system. And here I will discuss some advantages of the CVTC system. There is a speed supervision. The speeds of the trains are same to the controller so that they can keep a track of the trains, and the speeds also shared with the next train or the ahead train, so they can adjust themselves among themselves, so any accidents and they can avoid any accidents. The reducing of wear and tear and braking systems.
Okay. Yeah, your time is exceeding actually. Okay, so please do it fast, this group.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
this is the last slide only. I have
Yes.
reducing the and better acceleration will reduce the wear and tear, and departure interlocks. If it is a safety feature, if the doors are not closed, the train will not proceed. And the interlocks, if the interlocks in the tracks are not happening, the train will not proceed. All the system will be choked, and that's why they can reduce an accidents. And the train safe separation, the moving block system separation used to separate the trains among a distance so that they can the accidents are reduced, and the automatic speed regulation also gives an edge in improving the ride quality. And now in the next generation train controlling using 5G and machine learning, the CVTC systems totally depend on the communication. If there is any latency happens, then there can be a consequence of accidents. Or so I think the 5G will, which is focused on the latency reducing, will drastically improve this communication, improve the communication, and helps in a better operation of AT, automatic train operation, or the driverless train operation. And in machine learning, we can say that as a function, if you take the time as a function and the speed and the acceleration as an output, we can, if any consequences happens, the machine learning can reduce the time, giving a better speed and acceleration data to the driver of the ATO systems. The machine learning can learn the area of the how to avert any accidents if hacked by from humans, and they can improve in the automatic train control, and they can confidence in the driverless operations. And in the conclusion, we have learned about how the CBTC systems works and how it is of advantages over the other system, how the ATP and ATO are giving more advantages in the railway system. Acknowledgement, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for giving us this opportunity to make this slide.
Yeah.
And I think I have shown some beautiful. We have shown better representation of the CBTC system. So thank you, ma'am. And
Thank you. Yeah, it was a very nice one, very informative. Yes.
thank you, ma'am.
This will be the future train.
Ma'am, this is designed by Bombardier. This will be running in Delhi in 2022.
Yeah. Very nice. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, all of you. Yeah. The next last group.
Yes, ma'am.
শায়ন, তো তোমাদের প্রেজেন্টেশনটা খুব ভালো হয়েছিল। একটাই জাস্ট তোমাদেরকে বলা ছিল যে এইটা দিস গোজ টু অল অফ ইউ, নট অনলি টু the last group but to all the groups. Make sure that the background color or the background picture that you are choosing, that has to be a little bit clear. Like ওরা শায়ন, তো তোমরা যে করলে, তোমরা পেছনে ট্রেনের ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড দিয়ে তারপর স্লাইডস দিচ্ছ, স্লাইডস গুলো পড়তে একটু প্রবলেম হচ্ছিল আমার কিন্তু। Do you get my point? So when you
Yes,
are
ma'am.
giving, when it comes to a PowerPoint presentation, these things always you have to keep in mind. The target audience, the audience is going to view the slides, is going to see the slides. So for that, the background should be kept more or less clear. Again, এইটাও দেখো, এক গাদা এর পরে ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডটা আমি মানে it is becoming so difficult. I mean, always you have to keep. Now we are seeing it from our laptop or from our Android phones, but PowerPoint presentations are to be viewed from a certain distance in a projector or a screen. So keeping that in mind, the backdrop has to be made clear. The same problem goes with this slide also.
Ma'am, I have done this. It looks some modern. So I have done this system, sir. I have called.
No. Always these things have to be very clear. Modern look আনার জন্য ভেতরে স্লাইডস গুলো বিউটিফাই করো না। তোমাদের মানে মেইন যেখানে পিকচার দেখাচ্ছ, তারপর যেগুলো তো এদিকে দুটো ট্রেন মাঝখানে, আমাকে ফোকাসটা, যে কোনো রিডারকে ফোকাসটা করতে হবে তো স্লাইড রিডিং এর উপর। কি লিখেছে, আমার তো চারটে শুধু ছবি দেখলে হবে না, আই হ্যাভ টু read the contents of the slide. Get my point?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, please start. Yeah.
Ma'am,
But overall it was good. Yes, you're audible, clearly audible. Yes.
okay, ma'am, I'm starting. Ma'am, our topic is future of graphene. Showing next slide.
Future of graphene.
Graphene, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Fine. Please start.
So, a brief introduction to graphene. Graphene is a single layer of carbon atoms tightly bound in a hexagonal honeycomb lattice. Layers of graphene stacked on top of each other forms the graphite. The separate layers of graphene in graphite are held together by van der Waals forces. Here we can see that how primarily the left picture, how primarily the graphene is invented and how they are bounded by the covalent bond. Next slide. Coming to the properties of graphene, Number one, thinnest. At 1 atom thick, it's the thinnest material we can see. Lightest, 1 square meter of graphene weighs about 0.77 milligram for scale. 1 square meter of this is 1,000 times heavier than graphene. It is strongest. Graphene is stronger than steel and Kevlar with a tensile strength of 1.5 into 10 to the power 8 psi. Stretchiest. Graphene has an amazing ability to retain its initial size after strain. Best conductor of electricity. Graphene is an excellent conductor of electricity. Now, transparency. Graphene produces an unexpectedly high opacity for an atomic monolayer in vacuum, absorbing only 2.3% of light from visible to infrared. And most important, most renewable. Because of this abundance, graphene could well be a sustainable, ecologically friendly solution for an increasingly complex world. From next slide, my next member will continue. Shuman.
Continue. Please continue. হ্যাং করে গেছে কি? হ্যালো
Ma'am, I think he has a technical issue, so can we wait
no, listen, I think this it has been hanged actually. The entire thing, PPT got hanged up, so it got hanged up. Doesn't matter. Can you move on to the next slide?
Okay, ma'am.
Just move on to the next slide. That's it. Maybe due to fine computer chips. Yes, I can see DNA sequencing. Yeah, I can see that.
না ম্যাম, একজন মেম্বারের যে ছিল, মানে যে বলার ছিল ওইটা, তার মনে প্রবলেম হচ্ছে কিছু মোবাইলে।
আচ্ছা, doesn't matter. এগুলো নেট ইস্যু হতেই পারে. These are very normal phenomena. Move on. হ্যাঁ.
Okay. So let's talk about the potential application of graphenes. There are actually the many application on graphenes, but many of them are in research level, but not actually applicable in commercial level or for us as a user or a customer. So there's a application like batteries, transistor, conductor, computer chips, and many applications. There's next slide. So now let's talk about the batteries. In 2012, Northern University research built a battery made of graphene and silicon, which supposedly lasted over a week with a single charge that's only took 15 minutes to charge fully. So this could be the next our future for the mobile batteries or any car batteries, for a last long batteries and take much less time for full charge. And graphene offers higher electric conductivity than lithium ion batteries. This allows us for fast charging battery cells that are able to deliver very high current as well. High heat conductivity also means that batteries are run cooler than other batteries till now. Graphene's batteries are also lighter, slimmer, and higher capabilities of charge. For comparison, lithium-ion batteries store up to 180 watt per kg, while graphene can store up to 1000 watt per kg. Next slide. Now let's talk about the semiconductor. As a researcher from IBM research team, they built world's most advanced graphene-based chip that performed almost 10,000 times better than the previous graphene ICs. The key is to break through the new manufacturing technologies that allows the graphene to be deployed on the chip without being damaged. Perhaps more importantly, these new methods is actually compatible with standard silicon MOS processors, which actually present silicon semiconductors. They are much slower than the graphene processors. In short, we are closer than ever before the realizing the commercial graphene computer chip. The chip functional in very remotely. It receives and stores wirelessly signals in 4.3 gigahertz range. No, so now our next slide will be presented by Sobigdan.
Now, another use of graphene is making transparent and flexible conductors. So, next generation of electronic devices such as wearable technology, touchscreen, flexible touchscreen displays, printable electronic circuits. These requires flexible, transparent conductors. But nowadays, standard indium tin oxide films are used to satisfy used as the conductor, transparent conductor, like in our touchscreen phone. But in future, they are unlikely to satisfy needs due to the losses in conductivity and uh, and the cost, increasing cost of indium. So recent studies have shown that graphene can fill this area, and they can be pretty salient in making transparent, flexible conductors. Another use is water filters. As we can see in the right side video, graphite oxides can form a sheath-like structure that can filter water molecules and leave out the block the salts very effectively. This can be used to make a water filter that is pretty reliable. So this promising graphene oxide sheath could highly efficient in filtering salt. So and now they are being tested against desalination membranes. So next slide will discussed by Shantanu.
Now, ma'am, another use of graphene is graphene antenna. Graphene offers a large potential to downscale antenna to micrometer scale, and a graphene antenna is proposed high frequency antenna based on graphene that would enhance radio communication. The unique structure of graphene would enable this enhancement. Ultimately, the choice of graphene for the basis of this nano antenna was due to the behavior of electrons, and it would be unfeasible to simply reduce traditional metallic antennas to nano sizes because they would require tremendously high frequencies to operate. But in graphene has a unique structure wherein electrons are able to move with minimum resistance. So this enables electricity to move at much faster speed than in metal, which is used for current antennas. And ma'am, in the picture you can see the size of the antenna using graphene. So it's very small that we can implement it. Next slide, please. Now coming to the limitations, graphene has some limitations. The first one is it has the factor of limited production volume. Although the number of pricing methods making various forms of graphene, but the production is very low in nowadays also. And another factor is cost. And the initial cost of making graphene is very high. So that is a limitation of graphene to use nowadays electronics. And slide. Coming to the conclusion, graphene is a new hope for electronic devices that could replace the other silicon-based devices. And we have also made some prototypes, including conductors and flexible displays and ultra capacitors. And introduce a new era of electronics, and it's helping space and biomedical, etc. And so graphene must be used in nowadays as it is biodegradable, and graphene devices might surround us very soon. Next slide. So thank you, ma'am. We all like to express our special thanks to you for giving us the opportunity to research on this topic and enhance our skills. And
Okay.
we also want to thank our group members and friends for the cooperation. Thank you
Yes.
all.
Thank you. Thank you. So that was all. I mean, we are done with the presentations, all the groups. Just in a quick nutshell, just see that whether any group is being left out or not. I would like to just announce. Okay, the first group. The first group has done on blockchain technology. Am I correct? Members are present. First group was on blockchain.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. The second group was on optical wireless communication. The third group was on virtual reality.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
fourth group was fingerprint identification. See that any group is missing or not. Fourth group, fingerprint identification. Then the fifth group is wireless battery chargers.
Yes, ma'am.
Sixth group is cloud computing. Seventh group, pill camera. Eighth group, bionic eye. Ninth group, aircraft GPS tracking. The 10th group, CBTC systems in railways. And the 11th group was future of graphene. So are all the groups, are being included? Did I miss out any group? I'm sure I haven't. Okay. Now, the group marks. Yes. The group marks. Okay. Just give me just 2 minutes. The last three groups, I'll just do the summation and I'll just let you know. Okay. Fine. By the way, today we will be having a panel discussion, as I said. And regarding panel discussion, I said I'll give you certain rules and regulations also. The rules and regulations are, in a nutshell, let me tell you that, and then I'll do the calculation and I'll just announce the marks out of 10. The group marks, individual marks, I'm keeping it within myself. Only the group marks out of 10, which group has scored first, second, third, fourth. Till fourth, I will be announcing. And rest, everybody has done well. Doesn't matter whether you score or not. Everyone has scored, but no matter whether you are within first to four, but things have been wonderful. It was a very stiff competition for me to mark. Very difficult for me to mark because everybody has done their best in presentation, and the topics were all very, it was a very varied topics. So, there was no repetition of one topic. So things were very good. It worked out so smoothly. Even through Google Meet platform, we could give a nice presentation. That was so wonderful. Okay. Regarding panel discussion. Panel discussion is actually a kind of a discussion where you have to speak on one topic and discuss in a panel. Panels are formed by certain choicest members sharing common ideas, sharing common subject matter on which you would like to say. For example, I'm telling you, suppose if we have a panel discussion today on the recent hot topic, ongoing topic, is Sushant Singh death a murder or a suicide, for example. So we can have a very nice and interesting panel discussion on this topic. So this is how we will have to proceed. And in a panel discussion, you cannot contradict. That is the main thing. In a group discussion, you can always contradict in a group discussion. This is the main difference between the mode of panel discussion and a group discussion. You get my point, all of you. Just 1 minute. Just hold on 1 minute. Okay, here we are back here. Okay, as I was talking about panel discussion, a panel discussion is nothing but, panel discussion is actually, for example, if you're taking a TV focus group where a group of viewers are assembled to give feedback to the producers on any particular show or any particular event. That is what a panel discussion. An example of panel discussion is when a group of local politicians hold an open discussion and invite the public to come with questions or concerns. Panel discussions are actually, students, always it should be entertained by questions, clear, and concerns. This is what a panel discussion is all about. That's what I said. If you take the topic, say, is Sushant Singh's untimely death a suicide or a murder? So it will be a discussion of a subject of public interest by a group of persons forming a panel, often before an audience. Clear? And in a panel discussion, a discussion is carried on by a selected group of speakers before an audience. It is a situation in which a group of people are gathered together to discuss an issue, often to provide feedback on something, to brainstorm solutions to a problem, or to discuss an issue of public concern in front of an audience. This is a very important part. Did you understand? Panel discussion means where I told you that it's a situation. Panel discussion is a situation in which a group of people, that is the panelists, or you people, now you are forming the panel, so the panelists are actually gathered together to discuss an issue. Panel discussions, always there's an issue. Clear? We have to discuss an issue, often to provide feedback on something, or to brainstorm solutions to a problem, or to discuss an issue of public concern in front of the audience. This is what a panel discussion. There always has to be, like, if you take into account the topic of COVID-19, it can be subjected to panel discussion. That whether COVID will subside after the pujas or into 2020, or it will be extended, its effect will be extended beyond 2020. Whether a normal mode of education will be continued from November. So they are all topics of panel discussion, where feedback has to be given by the panelists, and there has to be a brainstorming solution to a problem. These things, brainstorming solution to a problem, a feedback system, and at the end, a discussion on the public concern. That has to, public concern. That is, you're giving a sound conclusion on the public concern. If it is for COVID-19, then obviously a sound public concern about the students, about school students, about college students, about students going to, if schools and all are open. So there will be a big, a chaotic situation moving from one place to another, so unless and until there is zero COVID. So all these will come under panel discussion. A conversation about a specific topic conducted by a group of experts or panelists, usually either in the presence of an audience or in a broadcast, that is in both. So did you little bit get the an idea and the concept of panel discussion, students? Yes or no?
No, slightly.
Yes,
no, not full.
Full, unless and until you take part in a panel discussion, you yourself do a panel discussion, you can never. So always there has to be a practical application. Yes, tell me.
Sorry for interrupting, ma'am. Where will you send the PPT in the chat box?
Where?
Means, ma'am, where will you send the PPT?
PPT? I told you. You remember? Anyone will take the responsibility in collecting all the 11 PPTs. Okay. 11 PPTs, and will make one folder and send it in and share it in Google Drive.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
In the chat box, some of the people are saying jam file. What is this?
I shared a jam file with the meeting. Yes, I think the jam that they have done, the just a minute session, I think that file has been shared. Yeah?
We all have to share this file.
It's better if you.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so panel discussion, did you now get? It has to be on a current topic, clear? It has to be on a current topic. There has to be a brainstorming session, and it has to give, you have to give the audience some kind of suggestions and advices. And at the end of the panel discussion, the panelists have to hold a clear view for the audience. This is what a panel discussion is all about. It is held by a group of experts or a panelist. Here you will form, ECB students will form the panel and be the experts. Clear? So roll number. So let the first panel be covered by roll number 1 to 10. Roll number 1 to 10. Are you there? Students? Are you listening, all of you?
Ma'am, roll number is starting from 9.
Acha.
I think 7 or 9. I think.
Okay, if it is starting from 7 or 9, then from 7 to 17. 7 to 17. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a practical marks and I have to give each and every day you are being marked, students. It is not a matter of joke. Every day you are being marked because at the end there is 100 marks which I have to upload and which I have to send in the back out. Understood? So it's a complete practical paper. You will have your practical exams and also this whatever you're covering. The average of it will be there and put in your mark sheets. This is not a sessional paper. It is a complete practical paper, a core paper. So please.
Ma'am, can you get us the time for preparation of this topic?
Yeah, see, for Infosys, they are not giving time. They are hardly giving a time of 5 minutes. 5 to 6 minutes. 5 to 6 minutes. তার বেশি বিশাল সময় দিচ্ছে না কিন্তু they are not giving much time. একটা প্যানেল ডিসকাশন আজকে হোক না। আচ্ছা আমি দিচ্ছি, আমি তোমরা কত সময় চাইছো বলো? Roll number 7 to 17. How much time do you require? Be very frank and transparent with me. I will listen. For the first time, তোমরা নাও 10 মিনিট সময় নাও. Let's start from 5:05 or 5:10. Or if you all want, then you can come prepared and you wanted to tell it in the next week.
Yes, ma'am. ওটাই ভালো হয়।
Ma'am, it will be better, ma'am.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you all.
Ma'am, it will be better if you will give a brief demo on that, how it goes.
Okay. Okay. So you all understood, Sakshi, regarding the way panel discussions are held?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, what is the average time of panel discussion?
See, this there is no fixed time for it. The average, say, 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, ma'am.
7 to 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes.
Ma'am, you already mentioned that we cannot contradict. Then suppose one of the member is opposing me, then I will not oppose him.
No. It's not about contradicting. You can contradict. It's not that I'm not saying that don't contradict. Not at all. Don't contradict. You can, but there has to be a positive tone in contradiction. You just can't negate things. You can't negate with an air of negativity as you do in debate. The tone should not be like a debate. It should be in a discussion mode.
Ma'am, suppose Sushant Singh Rajput is a death or suicide.
a suicide, or
Or murder.
I suppose, ma'am, I am going to give us the discussion on it is a suicide. Then the whole session, I will give on the suicide, not on death.
Yes, you have to remain stick to what you are saying.
Okay. And some of the members are saying it is dead. Then I will not contradicting them, but in positive tone, I will just.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Clear.
Clear, ma'am.
Ma'am, I just have a question regarding this panel discussion.
Yes.
Ma'am, while in the interviews of the big companies, we need to go prepared on different topics. Like they will give us arbitrary topics in which we might not be prepared at that moment. And as you said that that Infosys will give you hardly 5 minutes. So like we need to go prepared on different topics like that.
See, more or less, you have to be a little bit prepared on current topics. Okay, now if your luck clicks and you get a common topic, okay, then you can speak very well. If not, also you have to like group discussion. Always for GDs, previously for GDs, each and every time the topics were not told beforehand, prerequisites. Topics
Yes,
were
ma'am.
all announced on the spot. It was on spot announcement of the topics, on spot announcement. They were not told in prerequisite manner. So a similar way in panel discussions also, sometimes you might get a thing, it's almost a kind of an essay which we used to get in our school for ICC, whether it was a common topic which will click or an uncommon one, but you have to keep yourself prepared with the norms, with the structure of a panel discussion, how to conduct it effectively, how to make it very interesting and impressive before the target audience.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Understood. This is all. That's it. Nothing more. Okay. And panel discussions can also be supported by PowerPoint presentations, but that is not a compulsion. Understood. But if it is, you can't make, there's no requirement to make a PPT for Sushant Singh's case, but for COVID, yes, by showing the graphical structures. So if panel discussions are for public interest, obviously the graphs and graphical representations do play a role. If it is for an educational panel discussions, yes, PPTs does help a big deal. So these things also you have to remember. Sometimes panel discussions are supported with a PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Get my point, students.
But ma'am, when they will give us the topic at the time of interview, how we can make the PowerPoint?
No. That they will give you time. Do you think that if they give you if they tell you to give a panel discussion by showing slides, obviously they'll give you half an hour time for preparing. Understood? Are you understanding, students?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
That they will tell you. That they will tell you. If it is without the slides, then they will not tell you. Can you just take down certain topics for panel discussion? Please take it down. Just take it down. That is, green jobs are essential for sustainable development. Green jobs. Wait, should I put it in the chat box?
Yes, ma'am, it will be better.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Wait. 1 minute. Green jobs. Okay. The second one was National Education Policy of 2020. The third topic will be Farm Bills 2020, pros and cons. Farm Bills 2020, and the pros and cons. National Recruitment Agency. Pros and challenges, okay? Sorry. Should anonymity be allowed on the internet? Then Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhigyan. Did you get the topics, all of you all students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So please prepare on these topics, okay, for the next class then.
Now groups are divided on the according to roll number or our wish.
See, that depends. But there has to be 10 members in a group. Not less than 10, not more than 10. Try to maintain
And
the
topic
group.
repetition is allowed.
Hmm?
Topic repetition.
Yeah, here repetition is allowed.
Okay, ma'am.
I mean, repetition means repetition of the topic, though.
Hi, ma'am. Two groups, same topic.
That's what I'm saying. Repetition of the topic is allowed, but not repetition of speech.
No, no.
Don't copy from each other. But repetition of topic can be allowed. If you want to choose your own topic, you can even choose your own recent topics. But these are the kind of topics that are relevant for panel discussion. Understood. Recent, current, absolute current happenings. Panel discussions are always on topics, on hot topics, on happening topics. Yeah. Here lies the main difference between a panel discussion and a group discussion. Group discussions can be on any topics, but panel discussion means on immediate topics. Clear? Is that clear? Do one panel discussion now. Why are you so scared all of you? Give one. Unless and until there's a practical application, you will never understand. হতেই শিখতে হবে। মানে করো না, এই গ্রুপ ডিসকাশন নিতে তোমরা ফার্স্ট ইয়ারে কত ভয় পেতে, সেখানে থার্ড ইয়ারে গিয়ে অনেকটা ইমপ্রুভ করেছি সবাই। পাওয়ার পয়েন্ট প্রেজেন্টেশন মনে আছে ABSTT ক্লাসে করাতাম আমি, তখন একরকম থাকতো কোয়ালিটি, এখন অনেক ইমপ্রুভ করবো। মানে এটা তো না করলে, মানে এই ক্লাসটাই তো আমাদের প্র্যাকটিক্যাল ক্লাস, আমাদের প্র্যাকটিক্যাল করতে হবে সবটা। You get my point? All of you have to do things practically. So please start preparing, and we'll have the session in the next class. Okay then?
Ma'am, those marks for PPT.
Oh, the calculations. Acha, 1 minute. Then you have to wait for a minute then. Okay. Yes. Acha. Okay, the marks. Okay. Seventh group has done on pill camera. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. As my recording has been done. I mean, recording means I was maintaining all the things. So the pill camera. Seven. Hey, who is talking so much? Seventh group pill camera scores 9 out of 10. Heard all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I liked the presentation. It was a good one, but certain things has to be maintained. That was regarding the preparation of the slides. What I have noted down was some slides you have written too much. I mean, that needs little bit of filtration. You have to make it very more precise and more brief. Slides, you should never add too much of sayings. Slides, less of writing, more of saying. You have to give a demographic representation on the side. You have to give a demo speech on the slides, not read the slides. So there little bit technicality that next time when you do a presentation, just give the points in a nutshell, and more you have to speak or refer to the points and speak. Rest, everything was okay, not a bad thing. So you score 9 out of 10. Okay, pill camera, the 7th group.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, Shraddha and all that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, that was little bit things that needs to be changed. Rest okay. মানে তোমরা অনেক slides এ বেশি লিখে ফেলেছিলে. Slides means less of writing, more of saying, and writing has to be written on points, not in paragraph. But some slides I found that you people have written long paragraphs. That needs to be avoided in your next PowerPoint presentation, the upcoming next presentation. And in first position, along with pill camera, bionic eyes, the 8th group, also scores 9 out of 10. Clear? Clear, all of you? The 8th group?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is a member of 8th group there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So eighth group also scores 9 out of 10. Eighth and the seventh, bionic eye. It was very nice. The presentation was very nice. But some again the mistakes that I have jotted down in my diary. That thing was that when you were saying too much elongated. I mean, some speech were too long. That needs to be avoided. Speech has to be made a little bit, brief and precise. Your slides were okay, just the opposite of what the seventh group has done. Seventh group has written long paragraphs, but their discussion and what they were saying was very much to the point. But your slides were to the point, but your saying was too elongated. Understood. And too much on elaborated version. Elaboration has to be cut short in a PowerPoint presentation. You have to speak, you have to write to the point, you have to speak to the point. Clear? Okay. Very
Okay, ma'am.
quickly. Third position is once again held jointly by first group, that is blockchain technology, and the second group, that is the second group, that is your optical wireless communication. Clear? 8 out of 10. Right? 8 out of 10. And more or less okay, but needs a little bit improvement. Everybody has to speak to the point, and there has to be uniformity, and you have to maintain the sequence also. The sequence was not very neatly maintained. That sequence has to be maintained. Clear? Third group is CBTC, system in railways. Clear? That is 7.5 out of 10. Okay.
Okay,
Just half, yes. Rest everything was done properly, but too much long. That thing, the marks got down, and the background. What I said, background has to be made clear. Don't give so much. The pictures and all has to be given in. There has to be a parity with the pictures that you're giving in the backdrop and on the slide and on the write-ups. That was getting confused. Okay, but rest the topic and the explanation was very nice. CBTC systems in railways.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, and ninth group also scores 7 out of 10. Okay, fifth group 7 out of 10. That is on wireless battery charger. And fourth group fingerprint identification scores 7 out of 10. Clear? And the last group, that is future of graphene, also scores 7 out of 10. Each and every group has done very well. Clear, all of you? Is it all okay? Students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, was it all okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, why am I not hearing the voices? So next day in the next class, please come prepared with the topics for panel discussions. Is it okay, students? Yes, or please.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Come prepared with the topics for PowerPoint, this for the panel discussion. And this time you don't have to give a PowerPoint presentation on the topic. Just the discussion is more than enough. It got delinked. Okay. Okay then, students, let's call it a day, and we meet again tomorrow for our theory class at 11:30. Okay, sharp at 11:30. If not before, if the class gets over, I'll be online. Don't worry. If class gets, yes,
I have a
11.
question. What is the number of group 3?
Huh?
Group 3 number.
Oh, it's a
PPT presentation.
PowerPoint group number. Oh, wait. 1 minute. Third group, virtual reality. Virtual reality, 7.5 out of 10.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, on virtual reality. It was a nice one, not a pretty pleasant one. Okay, students, then thank you, all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Please be prepared with the topics that I have given for the panel discussion, okay, properly. And group division, try to do it on your own. I'm not imposing you people with the groups, but next day don't come and say, ma'am, nobody took me in the group, or with any kind of childish tantrums that, ma'am, I really don't know in which group I belong to. These things shouldn't take place. You have to be serious. If you're unable to, please inform me. Is that clear, students? Because this discussion, you cannot have it on your own. Panel discussion means you have to do it in a group of 10 or 8. Minimum 8 or 8 to 10. Do you get my point? Minimum it should be 8 to 10. You can't afford to do panel discussion individually. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, bye then. Yeah, take care. Have a nice day. Yeah.